Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Savannah and I love doing high-end Dollar Tree DIYs or honestly anything DIY on a budget. So if that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button and join our savvy family. So you guys, today's video is a Dollar Tree vintage Christmas DIY video and I have a surprise for you guys, but it's gonna be like Christmas. You have to wait for it. So let's get crafting. Okay, so for this first DIY, I took a Dollar Tree book and I ripped out one page. You can rip out multiple if you want to make more of these. I think that would be super cute doing different shapes of Christmas trees. But for the sake of this video, I just cut out a strictly straight triangle and then I started folding it like a fan. So fold it one way and then flip it over, fold it back. So you kind of almost have, what are those? Not a violin, you know, those little things that move. So it looks like a fan. This part you could, I would say you could use a hole punch, but I feel like that would make the holes too big. So I just took some little scissors and I went through where the paper like indents outwards and I made very small slits. And then I'm taking some of these mini little wood skewers. Honestly, I cannot remember where I got these. They are probably from Dollar Tree. If not, I know you can find some at Walmart. And at first, I just went through and I started just putting it through those holes, starting from the front, going through the back, and so on and so forth. And you'll see later on, I decided to do something just a little bit different. So yeah. And then once I have it all on there, I go and I trim the bottom, leaving about a ½ inch at the bottom. And then I hot glue the top so that it doesn't slide up and down. And then I hot glue in the middle and then at the bottom, which you'll see in a second. I know I said, but I do end up deciding to add a little bit more to this. And then next I wanted to make this very rustic and vintage looking because this is a vintage Christmas video, okay? And I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Rachel. She sent me some of these little chippy brushes to distress with. So thank you so much. I was super excited to try these out. And I just take my antique Waverly wax and I just go through and I just start distressing everything. I want this to look like this Christmas tree has been sitting like in a book for years. You know, I wanted it to look very old. So then I'm taking some jute and I'm just making a cute little bow. And then I hot glue that to the top. Okay, so here's where I decided to change it up. I unstuck where I hot glued the stick and I went back in and I started to add a farmhouse bead everywhere that you could see the stick on the front side of the Christmas tree. And then I just hot glued the top back to the stick. I added one to the bottom. I also hot glued that, and then I took some jute and hot glued that at the bottom of the bead so that the bead wouldn't slide off. And then I just took that same chip brush and I wanted to distress like the farmhouse beads so that it matched with that old vintage rustic paper. And then if I did do too much distressing, I just took a little bit of sandpaper and sanded that down. Honestly, I feel like you can't go wrong with distressing. I just love things looking very worn and old. And also I wanted to make something to hang this with because I want to use this as an ornament. I just took some jute, and at first I was going to tie it. I don't know why I don't even know why I'm doing this, okay? But I just put some hot glue on the back where that bow was, and I laid the jute obviously on it to make like a loop, and then I just reinforced it with some little stick I had laying on my craft table. But I think this would be super, super pretty with different sizes and shapes of Christmas trees. Let me know what you guys think. Hey guys, okay, so today's video is a collaboration with Sammie over at Unicorn Dust Designs. I honestly am super stoked to be a part of this collab today because Sammie is so sweet. She's so kind. She has been beyond helpful to me throughout my whole YouTube journey, and she is an amazing crafter. So I'm gonna leave the link to her vintage Christmas DIY video in the description box. Also on her page, she loves to do Woodside Wednesdays. So on Mondays and Fridays, she likes to post Dollar Tree DIYs or any DIY, honestly. And then on Wednesdays, she does her wood signs, which are so cool. They are beautiful as well. Honestly, everything that she does is beautiful. Her style is kind of like mine. She does like rustic farmhouse. That video is my favorite. So again, I'm going to leave the link to her video in the description box. So be sure to check her out. If you're coming over from Sammie's page, welcome. I'm Savannah, and let's get back into our video. So moving on to our next DIY, I'm taking one of these Dollar Tree, I guess, block tags, and I'm removing the jute and I'm filling the hole with some caulk because I want this to act as like I want to put this on a 3-tiered tray, and I want to make a really pretty sign for that. So once that was dry, I took some of my white Waverly chalk paint and just gave it a good coat. Not even a really good coat because I do like some of that wood to show through. I did the front, the sides, and I didn't really worry about the back. So then I'm taking these Dollar Tree window cleans, and I'm taking the one that says Season Greetings, and then I'm taking some Mod Podge. And I'm over here trying to get every last drop out. So I like cut the top off. And I just put a ton of that on there because I don't want this window cling to go anywhere. And I didn't realize this until I actually laid the window cling on white, that it gives off like a green, I don't know, it's not clear window cling. And I love that because I feel like that screams like vintage, and I did not know that when I bought these, and I thought it was super, super cool. So once I laid that down, I went back over with the Mod Podge, and then once that dried, I went back in with my chippy brush. Thanks, Rachel. And I just distressed it because I wanted it to look very old and vintage and rustic, you know, all in one. It's a 3-for-all, okay? And I actually am putting this on my 3-tiered tray. This is my Dollar Tree 3-tier tray. And I love how this came out. I think it's so cute. You can do so many things with this, and I think it's a perfect little piece just to stick in somewhere. You can see I made another one over there a while back. Okay, so moving on to our third DIY, I am taking a Dollar Tree gold picture frame, and I just start by taking it all apart. I had this in mind, and I originally was going to use, what is that, a gift bag, and I can't find it. So my craft room is a mess. I need to go in and figure out where everything is. But anyways, so I start by taking the picture that comes in the actual frame, flipping it over and giving it a good coat of the ivory Waverly, not a good coat. You can kind of see I'm making it a little bit distressed almost. But I did just cover that one good time. And then you can kind of see how the paper rolled up. So I just took, this picture frame was matted, so I took the matte part of the picture frame, and I'm so sorry I'm out of frame on this, but all I'm doing is just hot gluing that to the front just to give it something to hold on to. Now, moving onto the frame itself, after I hot glue this, I wanted to create the frame to look almost like an old window. So like you're looking out in an old window. Yeah, okay. So I took the same skewers that I used for my Christmas tree and I just put them one vertical and one horizontal. That's super simple. And I hot glued them on the inside of the frame. And then I didn't realize this frame, if you take sandpaper and distress it, it looks so cool, you guys. I was like shocked. I guess under this frame is black and I love how that came through. And then I'm taking my same distressing brush and I distress those little wood pieces as well. Now, I don't know a better way to describe this other than saying I wanted this to look like when you look out your window, you see a truck driving by with Christmas trees. So I did take another one of those window clings, and I Mod Podged that to where I painted. I put everything in and you can kind of see those little styrofoam pieces. I wanted those there to make sure that the picture frame felt full. And then I just put it all in and I made a little expo, and all this is Dollar Tree ribbon, and I went with like traditional colors. So it was more like a vintage style frame, and I hot glued the bow to the side of the picture frame, and you can do whatever you want. You could do a bow on this, the middle. Sorry, my kids are crazy. But that is this DIY, and I love how this turned out. I think this would be a beautiful just sitting anywhere in your house. So you guys have to let me know what you think. Okay, so moving on to our last DIY. This one is super simple, but it's probably one of my favorites. I'm taking one of these vintage bulbs from the Dollar Tree. They're actually solar panel bulbs, and I'm taking one of these jingle bells, but I'm not using the jingle bell. I just want to take the swag off the top. And then once you have that swag off, just set it to the side. And I started by removing the tags on both items. I originally had a different idea for this, and I resorted to something else. And you guys, this is probably one of my favorite simple crafts. These have like solar panels in them, so they light up at night. I wish I would have grabbed more because I have 2 Christmas trees on my front porch when you walk into my door. And I would love to hang like a million of these on there. So if I find some more, I'm definitely going to snag them. Now, at first, I was going to just make the metal part of the vintage, this is a vintage light bulb, if you guys didn't know. I'm just kidding. At first, I was going to just distress the metal part. And the reason that I did that is because when I go to put the other thing around, I don't want to ruin the surprise. I just didn't want the metal to shine through. I wanted this to look like I got them from my great-great-grandpa who passed all these light bulbs down, okay? So once I got enough coverage with my Antique Waverly wax on the metal, and I also did where I'm going to hang it from as well because I didn't want the bottom metal to look rusted and the top to look like it's clean. And then, so I'm going to lay a bead of hot glue above the metal lip at the bottom, and I'm just going to take some jute and start that, like press that down on the hot glue. Don't burn yourself. And I just start wrapping that around the top of this bulb. And then once you get to the top, you're going to want to lay another thing of hot glue. You guys, I cannot get myself together in this video. I don't know why I feel the need to pull things closer to me when I craft. It is such a bad habit. So when you're done, it should look something like this. Super simple, right? I'm yelling at my son right here. Not yelling, but he kept taking things off my craft table and running and throwing them in the bathtub where he was taking a bath. Why? He felt that he's just a terrorist. So then I'm taking that little swag, and I love these swags on these bells, you guys. I don't know why. I've used these in probably 3 DIYs in the last 3 videos. So I love these. It does have a little, what are those things? Little, not zip tie, but thing on the back to where you could wrap it around, but it didn't reach enough around the bulb. So I'm kind of just taking it and intertwining it to hold that swag together very good. And then I just take some hot glue, lay that on the bulb, kind of catty cornered. I didn't want this directly in the center, and I hot glue that down. You You guys, I am obsessed with this. I want to make 100 more and just put them everywhere in my house. So again, let me know which one is your favorite from today. Be sure to go over and check Sammie out. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see ya next time.